Locally known as yuchum, local rice in Bhutan is a delicacy in Bhutanese menu. Known for its taste and flavor, its popularity thrives as one of the Bhutanese cultural identity. But behind every grain that is revered with so much devotion, a great deal of hard work and perseverance go usually unnoticed. For Bhutan, agriculture has a dominant role in the country's development story. And rice remains to be one of the primary sources of food Bhutanese agriculture produces.
In Bhutan, we have around little more than 80,000 acres which could be irrigated, but as of now it is only around little over 60,000 acres. As per our statistics, it says that more than 60% of the population are working for agriculture and they are totally dependent on agriculture.
While many parts of the country grow rice, both for self-consumption and export, Nyishog Gewog of Wangdue Phodrang is considered to be the rice bowl of the Dzongkhag. With 3 irrigation schemes, paddy cultivation remains a primary agricultural practice in the community. Its annual production of rice is estimated to be nearly 400 metric tons. And with abundant rice production, people are far from any food grains distress whole round the year. Although people seldom face irrigation water shortage, I have come to know that more than anything else, irrigation water brings out maximum disputes, which are mainly during the cultivation season, and these disputes often divide the community, causing social disharmony.
Well, from where I stay, I have been traveling. I've been walking for about more than 2 kilometers. So through the big bushes you can see behind me. So I'm on my way to one of the water sources here under Nyishog. You see that hill out there? I have to cross that hill. And by the way, can you see that river flowing through the valley? That is a source of. That is one of the sources of this water channel out here. You can see that through.
The nearest irrigation water source from the Gewog station is located more than 3 kilometers away. Infested with leeches and hordes of uncleared bushes, the way to the water source is unimaginably rough and unwelcoming. Irrigation water is more than gold to the people of Nyishog. Villages sparsely located on an estimated gradient of 45 degrees, it is an ideal place for equal distribution of water among all households from different sources.
I'm finally at the water source. This is the nearest water source you can find in Nyishog. And this particular water source directly goes to Gewog, which benefits around 24 villages. The 2 other water sources are far and up in the jungle, so it is very difficult to walk in this season, in this weather condition, and it is very risky as well.
Because households own different acreage of land holdings, it has become imperative for them to guard their share of irrigation water. And they do it religiously through the nights, sacrificing all the comforts.
Teta tu na keni tilnebe teta gesa kandichi wanga teta tu chusma majo doji bawachin te tanga chargi yukalo tami takwachi chu aku khoragi thona chu ya ne betong gate gesa katin chu nga tari thona chu ke maswachin te tanga chargi jaye te thinshu dulam semni bi.
Right now, I am following a person. By the way, this is called Phodrang. They use this to protect themselves from miscreants, okay? Look at this. This big, magnificent knife, I should say. This is more than a knife, actually. Now, they use this and this one to protect themselves. Now, it is made out of yak's hair, because since they have to stay there the whole night, they use this thing to protect themselves from insects, from cold.
While rest of the world resign from the day's hard labor, people get ready for yet another round of task. And because irrigation water is a serious matter for them, men arm themselves with weapons and protective equipment to keep away from dangers that loom in the pitch dark nights. After walking for 15 minutes, Pasang is finally at the water diversion site. While men choose either treetops or bush to hide, just like every other night, Pasang will spend the night above the site. And his eyes refuse to even see a fly. It is in hunt of the miscreants who could come to steal his water and divert into their own farmlands. Really intense. I was sweating all over. The man I was following, Pasang. So he gets his share of water from this channel, right? And now, because this water is insufficient for all the irrigation, paddy field out there, you can see how people are trying to create a mess out here, okay? Just trying to dig out the whole lot of water from somebody's, right? And this is one of the many nights people here go through until the paddy harvest is over. And the local government maintains that the nature and number of issues varies from season to season and from villages to villages.
디가 배워진들이 루주들 야셔라 튀니유라. 데 작업질들이 다 디중기디 아미 세면 윤자야스라. 데 윤자 조금이데 뭐바 데다 같이라 다루 중기 카툴레 람템나 텔렌 사고나로 사고기네 땅 레짐소 고 다투 마투투페 나 베니디 등아처럼 미스소에 가라 하고 텔렌 지 하고 하게 마세다 톱등게름 바디 베버진 주요대 해마 대 주요 충고질레게미 다 아니디 책디게베 아소와진 디날로 디주화점니기 미디 차가질레게 되니미 텔렌 추디고 미들야셔 된 베보들로 땀마도 샤트미실인데 피우들야셔 되메발라 다 다른 아위 딜루비 간에 데 로치웨 로치가 제 추여디 수베디베르 데 마이는 마히셉시다 마투투 베수 추기 강일리나 메스미 지미 조단이 되기 다 다리기 내당 데 컨피주의 내당 데 아닌 지가 휘들로 데 해마답셔 버진데 자랑 데다 셰기라 데다나 버터베스.
Compared to past years, conflicts related to irrigation water have drastically declined. People there and the local leaders attribute this to more development in the irrigation facilities. However, when disputes occur, people sort out issues through a hierarchy of problem solving.
dumprari tamadu themdegi dingachi da yuhalu te tambara shimi thomi tele nibasodolonga chiani yuhalu da tarinabo wachin de rajapse de chugi yon de sudansi be tele yugogi na susugi chudansi thamigi deru maomise de yupje halamji ani katulebe de konanu konatebe se anyomsela de dele digi bera matsumidi 땡아치라다 다리나고 비간에 지우기 촉바유 지우기 촉바 수기 배심다베 데 공기에 주지 랍베베데 강일지 데베 세도세 델레 디나레 아치치 조마투미디 델랭아치 게우네 히돌라 땡아치 게우는 온비간에 마치 게우기 카툴레 디디나로 진실 속충세 데 땡아치기 데 속충지 데 시투베디 비빌라 다니 지투비미디 카툴레베 땡아치기 사고나 십지죠 텔레 당후기 토브른 바디수 십지죠 텔레 다리나바기 네단데 치디기베 답두마두 가디비요가 마치라 중기 팀날로 디수기 데 토통이름 바디수 가디비요가 안디수가라 십지 레지메 잡신데베 땡아치 카툴리 주시된 베베 데데베 타블럼디스나리 베텐도.
Furthermore, amidst such issues, people have come to harmonize among themselves by using a locally devised wooden tool. Known as gadajemi in local term, people of Nyishog have been using the tool for water distribution since generations.
So we are finally done with making of this tool, locally known as gada shemi. So now a little bit of explanation. I'll just get you along through this tool. It cannot be made just like that, because this gada shemi has a special and a requirement to itself, because this has to be 1 inch width and it has to be approximately 15 centimeter. Now this shemi, it should be 3 centimeter width and height, and it should be square in shape. Now, from what locals say, I think this is quite an expensive matter, among the locals. Now, because they say that whoever makes this gada shemi is paid 2 days wage, which is equivalent to 1,200. And now if the person is not given 1,200 newton in money, he is exempted with 2 days of labor in the community.
And as much technicalities and wisdom invested for the tool, it has also solved the problems to greater extent. And such a piece of creation is also a thing of wonder, especially when it is put to function. This group of people are putting the tool to test. The tool determines the amount of water a village or a household gets depending on the land holding.
All right. So, as you can see, this is how gada shemi is used to distribute water, to divert water from the source.
다 쫄라디데 미투 시티나레 가다 셰미디 자코미디 공기 때때야 추 쫄로고 추구자 아니 비셔 장자마도 추엘바 게이라도 때루니마레 파미캅레라 헤말레라 테비둘라 다티기 tam마디우티 지디 아니 임벨라 때다 가다 셰미디 마차바신 때 추리 봄춤이시고 곰다 엘라바키 나치움다 마 팝비쇼레타 하나 탑지 템마발 아니 비샤니 루가다 셰미디 차이바신 때 가셰미 곱tilegi 때라바 토비 님민도발라
아니 가다 셰미기 답답이 추 답답지 미 이천이래게니라 이천직고 아니 숟가락까지 되게 땀을 듣는 게 쉽다. 아니 론도 하고 그 담라 담 같이 아니라 막 이 생각 쪽다 같이 미 아싸라 같이 미 차비인데 무슨 마사비고 얘가 채통 아주 차비 있어부터 같이 하면 이 론도 세미에 아 차자베 tukila.
People of Nyishog have been using gada jemi for decades now, and until they find a better solution, the tool will remain an invaluable asset in the community. While most brag about the abundance of irrigation water in the community, few households of Chebaka have been coping with no irrigation water for decades. It also happened that a household had to use drinking water to irrigate their farms until they found a solution sometime recently.
Ngachi tunchidani la, ngachi tunchidani bodo. Tetelana yongi tabo chabo yoma ulo be yongi tabo shin lando sumhabjibila. Telana ki shinchidana le tsugobe. Benedi tetegon shinchidana ni yani zingobela, zingobe zinatu. Bodo shani techi zinatu jana le pech changla dana chabdala. Bodo tunchidi malong. Shinchidi tsubodo tunchidi malong be tetele kangena ni betime telechina. Atsi tsangdara nem kane jamasu.
때 해마디 추디 아니 톤추디 썩때 님데 아리니니 숨소베라 잡다우 숨비나레라 추고 말라 때 텔레 다르나 바에 때다 파마기 파메슈 베베 뽕자마니라 때 데베라 사도라 때 사우다 옆지다우 숨수시 야사로에 저라 잡면서 벌라 촌이데 때 디나이로 톤추디 갈레 깨베데 아치르베 썩다라 잡이라.
Those deprived are the ones whose lands are located above the irrigation channels, and those who are of different Gewogs than that of the irrigation channels. And some people of Kunzangling have been using this deprivation to their advantage for years through water trading. This is Dorji, an elderly in Kunzangling village, and he's on his way to divert his share of water to a neighbor downstream. His fields have already been irrigated, and as always, he has some surplus water for sale. Other households who share the water from the channel have also come to see that not even a drop extra of the white gold is being traded.
내가 잘하고 매. 로나라. 너충하라 매나 뭐. 또.
시스트라 참 고자까지 쪼그라미.
진짜 고제.
저라.
진짜 고제.
아야.
And now, Dorji is devising a measurement stick with which they will divide the water.
대충 고소스라 쉬시미 고사가 대충으로 나가자.
똥.
대착감 같이 말하면 대착가. 빨리 뽑지. 대박.
이게 시가 잘.
With this amount of water for a day and night, Gezang of Chebaka gets to irrigate her entire paddy field, and she pays him 600 ngitum or exchange it with one day's work.
Okay, as you can see, this is a stick, the measurement scale they use to divide the water equally among all the households. Now, this water is benefiting 7 people, beyond the station, and they are using this particular stick to measure the equal volume of water among 7 people. Here, what you witness is the water trading. So now, among 7 people here, this much volume of water is being shared and traded with her.
ngari 신이다 용데 때 많이 벌라 내가 신이나 용기 달베네디 아니 추디 따브라 날마 렌 맞아봐 타브라 미라 아니 로르라 님레 베브시 베테나 홀라 렌 차벨라 에 트루트 바신 트루트 자마 에 라보다 님치 내가 추디 아트라에 렌 차벨라 에타 쫄라 잡로 좀 주니 되샤슬라 추디 날레 렌 차베
이 초미키 찍지마 아니 ngari 심지 제바가 요 딸베 머리 축 담니지 올레베 되게 대 초미키 몰집다 내가 대 나길 르슬레보다 추증할 축원이베 domzujabe chole te 추증할 chuli tingdamangal pa toktobe chumiki tiktigaljedila.
And the water trading system has been keeping her field irrigated for years. Like her, few others under Gewog also depend on traded water to cultivate paddy.
Kizalele melani yang ngachiri new atpumul chula. Hemate metovala rugame tewa chukange unity tatarana bacha and ngachiri minutes at Chipobe, the Aninale Chulin, Londo cheese or Anim Chiramala, Anim Chiptil to Ruharanona to James or Ngachil she dying ole Dunjel and Chemala. The Anibenedi Mache Conlet. La moship la atre hon tele la bebe
chumiki se miki ve zote wala miki se chandere ani zodani tir tujar tiola te chumiki chip digina lando chik salege daramesina lando sum hapji shin changla chapuna.
Until they chance upon equal share of the much prized resource without having to pay for, the system of water trading is there to remain in Nyishog. And although it appears quite a possibility for them to have equal share of the resource from other Gewogs without having to pay for, it is just a thin line of certain policy issues and norms in the village that have come to the deprivation.
Atero yo se ula chap anzumbo da chiwo so benedigi ngachena ge chiwo na bendigi ngachara cheba yo se so bela. Tero ele ya kizali be yo di pechyo se ya ra gonjole di la chyo se yo so bedula.
Ata dola chapte rogi mapale ole chap mitila ya tayagi takate mavarasu mitula tangachi ro yagi hemale ro khari yag bene digi tatongachi de ola ngachi ge achapgi thunchi ngachile ani shakti nimchi de ngachi tobbese labda di mapale rogi nimitula ni di
eng mabangara maula ngara yo mai dem chuma ola ma cha ko chuma lege ni shin de yagi shimijib di de chola de chapda chomchi de elema lenchapbe ani khewonu te ane beila.
Also, few people trying to privatize the water source has also added to the shortage.
The Kongi Kang using the Karabangachina Hujibala. Then Achina Hubigale, the Delangachi Katule, Teragi Manul Jiguarambe. The Nagitirachi Dunibe, the road Zorigi, the Mumsuna Shu, Pasaguna Kiwi, the Daygalan, the Delani Chutusagi Saudera Rorangi Tomina Yumichigi, Sawan. 다니 미몸 디기 카톨레 디 사샤딩이기 사차이 디기 슈딩이기 참내 유비 사원을 튼트비니 디기 딩아라라고세 디치 마루 데 다니기 와시 망기 주니기 와시 미 딩아치라고세 베부들로.
And this represents just a small fragment of the issue faced by paddy cultivating communities across the country. But they're left to their own indigenous ways of problem solving. In Bhutan, wetland farming constitutes just about 28% of the country's cultivable land. Very much vulnerable and highly dependent on climatic parameters, most parts of the country's wetland farming depend on springs fed by monsoon rain, glaciers and natural watersheds. And for this reason, a small change in the climatic parameters brings about devastating impact to the agriculture production.
Some of the challenges are, one is because of the shortage of water, but it is mainly to do with the conveyance system. It is also been contributed by the change in the weather patterns. Like WMD has already indicated, many schemes are either drying up or totally dried up.
And given the country's geographical limitations, Bhutan cannot opt to expand the cultivation areas either. With the global temperature rise projected at 2 to 4.5 degrees Celsius over the next 25 years, paddy cultivating farmers remains challenged like never before.
Some of the irrigation water sources are drying up. So most of the irrigation systems that we are implementing now at this time, those involves either going for additional sources or we are identifying a totally new source which is reliable and more, say the amount of water that is coming through that channel is sufficient for the farmers.
And with such dangers not very far, a question arises: how secure are we from a devastating future?